Okay, hey, welcome to another episode of Drive-By Philosophy, I guess. So, this is going to be a quick video, and I wanted to talk about being wrong and getting, as far as getting actually even more out of being wrong sometimes than being right. So, I get into Facebook debates and YouTube debates and comment wars with people, and occasionally it happens I am wrong, okay, about something. And I will tell you, when I am proven wrong, or when something is when somebody makes an argument and I say something in response and I'm proven wrong, I think I was at a bar and I was speaking to someone, and this song came on, and the DJ was a friend of mine, and the song came on, and I was like, oh, who sings the song? And I said it was this group, and the person I was talking to said, no, it wasn't that group, it's this group. And I was like adamant that I was correct. Like I knew who it was. I knew I would have bet every penny of money that I had that I was right. And so I went over to the DJ, and then he was like, nope, you're wrong, and it was this other group. And I couldn't believe it. And then even after the DJ told me this, I went on Google myself and Googled it on my phone in the bar, and I'm like, oh man. So the point of that is, and a more important instance of this is, I was talking to someone about trial. I don't know what the conversation was about, but somehow it got to Mars, and I was like, we just sent our first probe to Mars that landed on the planet, and this person was like, no, you're stupid, blah blah blah. We've done it so many times. I'm like, no, it was just such a big deal. It was during the Olympics, and so I looked it up, and I was wrong. We had sent more probes. I didn't know, and I was, again, I was so confident, so sure when I was talking that it could have been. I thought it was true. So the fact that I had to look it up, and in both cases I apologized. I said, you know what, I was wrong, and it sucks. It sucks being wrong. I know it sucks, but it sucks in the moment. But afterwards, the fact that I was wrong about these things, it forced me to actually go and look up the answer and find the answer, and now I have enhanced my knowledge. I know there's more probes. I know the group who sings that song now, and I will never get it wrong again because of that experience that I had. So my point being is, just yesterday I have conversations with people, and they will not admit that they're wrong, even in the face of evidence. So for example, I had a conversation with a good friend of mine about the definition of the word graffiti, and she thought graffiti only meant when you use spray paint on a wall outside. And I was like, no, graffiti means any you can do. You don't have to use spray paint. You could use a marker. Anything you write on a wall on a public place is graffiti. And she's like, blah 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 blah. And so finally it got to the point where I was like, all right, let's take out the dictionary. I went to dictionary.com and looked it up, and I was right in this scenario. And even in the face of being right, she's like, well, go to a different website. I'm like, I'm on Webster's. So, all right, we'll go to a different one. And of course, it's the same thing. And she's like, well, that doesn't mean that's the definition. That's just what the dictionary says. I'm like, are you insane? Like, even in the face of the dictionary, still did not want to admit, that she was wrong. And this happened yesterday. The same thing. The fact that the dictionary, I literally took out this. I was debating with someone about the definition of racism, and they were like, well, racism is if you is only the case. He's like, you are doing what's called discrimination. Like if a cop racially profiles someone and does and does something to them, that's not racism yet. That's just discrimination. And I'm like, no, that's racism. So, and then I pulled up the definition of racism. I copied it. I pasted it. I said, here's exactly what the definition says, and here's what happened. And what I said, sorry about the sun there, pretty much is exactly what this definition says. And not only did they, so the tactic this time was to completely ignore it. They just ignored the fact that they actually deleted the post where I put the definition there, and then later on in the conversation they just ignored the fact that I already addressed this and continued talking about, no, you were not subject to racism. And I'm like, how do you just ignore? So I reposted the definition of racism. That here's the definitions, here's the example. You're wrong, and they still just like, no, it's discrimination. I don't like, just completely don't even acknowledge it. And so, if you're wrong, by the way, if you're wrong, it just means it sucks to be wrong. If you're in an argument, it's kind of embarrassing to be wrong because our school system, teaches you being wrong is the worst thing that could ever happen. You got a big red X, you're wrong. And honestly, every time I've been wrong, it kind of sucked. I'm kind of a little embarrassed, but I'll never be wrong about that fact again. And in the face of like the actual facts, like you got to be able to admit when you're wrong that you're wrong. Everybody says, "Oh, I'm not perfect. Everyone's not perfect." Well, if you're not perfect, that means you're wrong sometimes, and just admit it. Just say, "Okay, I'm wrong," and I learned something new. And and sometimes you lose a discussion, you lose an argument, and sometimes you're not right. It's just the way it goes. So just admit it, take your knowledge, and move on, and be a better person for it. That's just kind of how it goes. All right, I said it would be short. I'm gonna end it here.